Hi guys, Colesy, and today is a little bit of an update video, a little bit of an explanation as to why I have been a little bit sporadic in my streaming and my videos, and sometimes I haven't got them out and I haven't done them and I haven't done any streaming for a while, and sometimes I miss. It's not a deadline, but like I like to set myself like I want to do at least like 2-3 streams a week, and I've been missing that. And there's just been a lot of stuff going on in my personal life, in my own life, that has been, I don't want to say stopping me, because part of it is me stopping me, but there's a lot that's been going on that has been distracting or important that I deal with that, and my focus is on that stuff. And it has meant that sometimes I'm not able to do what I want to do, which is make videos and do live streams and be productive and have fun and play games and do that, because that's what I really enjoy. I really enjoy making these videos. I really enjoy doing live streams, and it's super fun, and it is something that I want to pursue and continue to pursue and enjoy and have fun doing. But sometimes life gets in the way, and just recently, these past couple months have been pretty damn sucky for me, to be honest. I don't like making videos that are serious. I'm not a very serious person in general. That's not how I am. I generally try and be funny, mess about. That's how I deal with things anyway, is making jokes a lot. So I don't really know how to approach this because it's awkward. I don't necessarily like always talking about my personal life, and I don't go into it too much, but it feels like I should give some sort of explanation at least. Just help you guys understand a little more about where I've been and why I might not have been around as much. It's been about a couple months, 2-3 months, I'm not sure, since a lot of stuff happened. Me and Sarah, my partner, my girlfriend, and our daughter and stuff, we were looking at buying a house. Now, this wasn't something that we necessarily planned on doing, and to be honest, it was something that I never thought in reality I would be able to do, like buy a house, so that we'd own a house, so we don't have to rent a house, so that, you know, instead of paying rent every month, we're paying a mortgage, which is effectively our money, rather than giving this money away to pay rent and get nothing for it. I mean, obviously you get the house, but a mortgage is different, because then at the end you own the house. So you own a piece of property, and it's good investment, I guess. But yeah, that wasn't something that I don't think we went into this year intending on doing, but this property came up that was really nice. It was perfect for us. It was in a reasonable budget that we could afford. And I didn't mention anything about it in the early stages, because obviously I didn't know whether we were going to get it, whether we were going to have our offer accepted, what was going to happen. I just didn't want to mention, I didn't want to jinx it by mentioning it too early to you guys. So we went to view it. It was a nice house. We really liked it. It was basically perfect. It was great. We didn't need to do any work to it. We probably would have decorated, but it didn't really need it. It would have been just move in, and everything would have just been simple. As simple as moving house can be. But there was no work that needed doing. This place was great for us. I would have had an office that was 3 times the size of this office, if not more. I was really excited about that. We were all excited to make this big next step in our lives. We were just all looking forward to it. So we went to view it, like I said. We put an offer in. We got a mortgage agreed. We put an offer in. Our offer was accepted. So then we were excited. We were like, oh, this is happening. We're buying this house. It's actually going to work. It's going through. Obviously, until we signed contracts, that's not technically the case. But everything was going through. We had solicitors. We spent money on solicitors, on a mortgage advisor. We had the mortgage agreed. They were happy with it. And we were getting near the stage of signing a contract. We were waiting for a date to be given to be able to move. We were waiting to be given a date, and that would be our moving date. We'd sign contracts, then that date would go ahead, and that it would be the date that we moved in. It was getting very close to that stage. It had been months, and we were just waiting on that. It was getting near the end of the whole process, and unfortunately, the seller had to back out of selling the property. So that just didn't work out. That was a real bummer for us all, because we were really excited about this place. This place was perfect for us. It was nice. It was really nice, actually. It was a lovely house. It was within our budget. It was just great, and we were really looking forward to it. All of us were looking forward to it. It was going to be some like I said, it was going to be like a next step in our lives as a family and stuff, and it was going to be a next step for me making content, making different content, being able to do more things and having more room to do that. And then it fell through at the last minute, kind of with no warning. It was something due to the woman who was selling the house that we were buying. The place that she was buying turned out to have some damage, or it needed work doing that she wasn't happy with, which is fair enough. I can understand her situation, and I'm sure that she wouldn't have backed out if she could have found any other way around it. And after speaking to the estate agent, that's kind of what they said. They said that she'd looked into every single different possibility for her, and none of it was suitable. She couldn't get it to work, so she had to drop out of the sale. So all of that work, all of that time, all of that sort of planning, we didn't actually really do too much. We didn't like buy anything or do anything like that, but obviously we spent money on the solicitor and we spent money on the mortgage advisor to help us get the mortgage and stuff. So we spent a chunk of money, and to be honest, that's not the worst thing. The worst thing is really just being let down and not being able to get that house at the end of the day, because we were really looking forward to it. So I mean, that's a pretty big bummer. And at the minute, there isn't really any other places that we think are right for us within our budget and stuff. There's a few that we could afford, but they're not really right, or they need a bit of work doing. So at the minute, we're staying here, where we are continuing to pay rent and just waiting to see if something else comes up that's suitable. So that was a bit of a bummer. That was actually a pretty big bummer for me for a couple of weeks. And I got pretty down about it, but, you know, hey ho, these things happen, you know what I mean? Like, you have to just move on. But that was a sucky thing. And I feel like that's actually the least serious of the basically three things that have been going on. So there was that, and that wasn't great, and it sucked. The second one was my own mental health, I guess. I've dealt with like bad mental health in the past. Maybe a year or two ago was the first time I really started to feel really bad anxiety and depression. And it's always the anxiety that surprises me more than the depression. Everyone can have a down day, and sometimes I'd have a down day and I'd just be like, I know that I'm bad company and I don't want to be around anyone because I know that I don't feel good. I'm not going to be good company to be around. I just want like, I either want to sleep it away or I want to come and hide away and not be around people. But that, I could deal with that occasionally. Obviously, if that started happening every day, that's not normal and that's not good. But the anxiety I had a couple of years ago, it started to be just being very anxious, short of breath, like chest pains, with doing like normal things that I would do every day, like go to the shop. I would start to be like panicky about it. And that to me obviously wasn't normal. That was a sign. So a couple of years ago, I went to the doctor, spoke to the doctor about it, which if you're feeling any of these things, I highly recommend you do, because they've always been really, really nice, really helpful. And I was put on some medication, some antidepressants, which also deals with anxiety. And that was a couple of years ago, and I was on those for quite a while. And then I stopped taking them, which was my own fault. I know it was my own fault, and I shouldn't have stopped taking them, but I felt fine. And I was like, I feel fine, I feel good, I don't need these anymore, which is probably not the best idea, and I don't recommend it at all. But that's what I did, and I was fine for a while, quite a few months. I was perfectly fine, I felt normal, I felt good. But then, over these past couple months, I started to feel similar things again, panicky in normal situations, overthinking things, like stupid things, like we'll go to the pub on like a Friday to go to the pub quiz, and we'll go with my parents, and we all like to do that. It's a nice family thing that we do, and go and do a pub quiz. But I start to get panicky about like, where are we going to sit? Is there going to be seats for us? And it's like, that is something like, and I'll get myself really het up about it and short of breath thinking about it. And that's not normal. And the same thing with like going to the shop or picking my daughter up from school. These are things that shouldn't make me panic, but were making me panic. And it even got so bad to the point that I did a live stream. I was going to say tried to do a live stream, but I did live stream, and I was with Jake. I think Jake was at his house, and we were playing online. We were playing a game, and we were streaming. And I started to have like a panicky anxiety feeling while doing that, and that had never happened before. I kind of figured that streaming and making videos was my safe space where I felt comfortable, where it didn't affect me. But that wasn't the case, because I started to feel panicky and I almost cut the stream off short because I started to feel horrible. And with that came the depression that normally follows, at least for me, normally follows the anxiety, and I was just pretty bad. I felt pretty low and pretty crappy. I mean, I broke down a couple times. That's like the worst thing that happened. I just cried. There was one time I dropped off Sarah and Caitlin in town. I dropped them off in the car, and I was just coming home, and I just cried the entire way I was driving home. And I don't really have a reason for it. I just felt so low and so crappy and so like insignificant, I guess, that's what I did. And then I realized, obviously, that the way I'm feeling isn't right, and it felt worse than it had ever felt before. But I went back to the doctor and spoke to them, and I was put on the medication again, and back on that, and I feel a lot better. I had a blood test, which was one of the most terrifying things. And I know a blood test is fine, right? This is the thing. Logically, in my head, I know that a blood test is nothing to worry about. It's not painful. There's a sharp scratch, little tiny scratch, and then they take some blood, and that's it. And they wanted to test my thyroid and like liver and some other things, because apparently thyroid can, if you have a problem with your thyroid, it can affect anxiety and depression. So they wanted to test that because that hadn't been tested before. So I went for this blood test, and while waiting for the blood test was the worst anxiety I've ever felt, because I was scared because I'd never had a blood test. So I started to feel like a hot chest, started to feel faint, started to feel like I was either going to faint or run away. That's how I felt. And I had to take my mum with me. Like, it's sort of embarrassing having to take your mum with you because you don't feel like you can go through it on your own. But that's what I did, and I don't feel like I should be embarrassed about it. I needed the support at the time because I really didn't feel good, and the anxiety was getting the best of me. But I went and had a blood test done. The test came back. There was something slightly high on my liver test. So I've been and had another blood test, which I haven't heard anything back from yet, but I'm thinking that hopefully that's going to be fine. So I'm not too worried about it. And like I said, I'm back on the anxiety medication, the antidepressant medication, and I feel a lot better. I feel a lot more myself. I feel a lot more positive. I feel a lot more just normal, I guess, the way I should feel. I can tell when I don't feel like me, and that's how I started to feel a lot of the time when I was having anxiety. And obviously, like, I'm feeling a lot better, so I feel like I can talk about it and I can explain it to you, and I feel okay about that. Whereas before, I don't think I could have said anything because I was just I was really down in the dumps, and I felt crappy, and everything made me stressed, and it was bad. But I'm feeling better now. I'm feeling slightly better now, obviously. And this was happening all the same time during buying the house. So when the house fell through, and we, found out that we basically weren't going to end up buying it, that didn't help. It made me feel a bit down for like a week or two. But I feel a lot better to be able to cope with these things at the minute. And obviously that's not going to be something that goes away overnight, but I am dealing with it a lot better now, and I will I'm going to make my best effort to make sure that I keep on top of it. And if I do start feeling worse, or I feel like it's sort of coming back, the anxiety and stuff, then I want to go back to the doctor and talk to them and explain and see if I can get sorted whatever way they think is necessary. But right now I feel pretty good as I am and as I'm doing. So that's not too bad. I'm dealing with it, but it has been something that has affected me and might affect me in the future. So maybe if I'm having a bad day, it might mean that I cancel a stream. It might mean that I don't put a video out that day, and I'm sorry if that is the case. And I will try to not make that the case. But you have to understand that these things are sometimes hard to manage. But like I said, like, doing videos and doing streaming is what I love to do, and I don't want to stop doing that. That was one thing that I really didn't like. It was the fact that I was so low and felt so crappy that I didn't even want to do the things like this that I enjoy. I didn't want to play games. I didn't want to watch TV. I didn't want to make videos. I didn't want to stream. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to be asleep, and that's not good. That's not normal. But I do feel like I'm getting back in the flow of things, and I'm back to enjoying my passions and my things that I like to do. So that's good. Okay, so on to the third thing. I'm trying to not make this video long, but I also want to explain myself as best I can. But the third thing is my sister, who I'm pretty sure she's appeared on my channel before, but my sister Emma is 4 years younger than me, so she's 21 now. And her boyfriend Nikki got pregnant. I mean, well, my sister did. Nikki didn't. So she was pregnant, and it's not something. I don't think it's something that I mentioned because I didn't feel like it wasn't my place to talk about it, and I didn't want to talk about it if people didn't know about it, like family and things. So I didn't want to put it on Twitter or anything, and family find out through that. So obviously they're excited. It's their first child. It's my sister's first child, and it's my first niece-nephew. It was going to be my first niece-nephew. I was going to be an uncle. And obviously the whole family is excited for them. My parents were excited for them. And again, I guess that was happening. This is all happening around the same time. These things have all happened together, kind of. But then my sister, she had some complications during the pregnancy. She went for like scans and things like you normally do, and they said that the baby wasn't growing at the rate that they were happy with. And he was born prematurely. The baby is a boy, and he was born prematurely. I think it was 9 weeks premature. So he's a premature baby, and they're still in hospital at the minute. Obviously, like my sister and her partner, Nikki, they're obviously staying with their child, but they're fine. The baby he's a premature baby. He has a lot of, I guess, medical complications. He's generally strong. They've said from the beginning he's a lot stronger than they thought he was, but obviously over time, some things have not worked out, or some things have, I don't want to say gone wrong, but they've discovered more issues medically with the baby. And so that is still ongoing, and obviously we're hoping everything goes well, and it just seems to be one thing after another. They find something, not right or wrong with him, and then they work towards fixing that, however it is, and then it just seems to be a week later, 2 weeks later, whatever it is, there'll be something else they find, and it just seems kind of never ending, and it really sucks for everyone. I can't begin to think really how like my sister is dealing with this, and it's not nice. She's my little sister, and even though she's my little sister, in many ways I feel like she's got her life and herself more together than I have, and she's such a strong person. And like even when I've been to visit them in the hospital and see obviously my nephew, and been to see them all, my sister, she always seems positive, and that's a nice thing to see. But then it's like, how many more things can you throw at them? Can you throw at us all with these medical issues and complications with the baby before it really breaks you down? You know what I mean? And I don't want to go. I'm saying medical issues because I don't want to go into all the different actual like specific medical problems that he has, because again, that doesn't feel like my place to say. But obviously he's a small baby, he's premature, he's only really little. He was 9 weeks premature, and it's when you see something just so small and innocent, it just feels unfair that all these bad things are happening and these sucky things are happening. And it's just like, all right, come on, you've thrown enough shit at him, can you stop now? Like, just let him get better and let him grow, and we just want him to be all right and want him to come home, basically. And it's sucky for my whole family, and even like my partner Sarah, everyone around us, even Sarah's mum and Sarah's family, we're all really concerned about the baby and my sister and stuff, and we want that to go well, and we're all just really concerned about that, and that is just ongoing at the minute. Like even as of yesterday, we had some more bad news about the baby. So that's just ongoing. We're all hoping for the best, and obviously he's in the best place being at hospital as he can be, and the doctors are amazing and they'll do anything they can to try and fix whatever comes their way. I don't know the best way to explain this. My mum and dad had a child. My sister, not my sister Emma, I had another sister, and she was born prematurely, and she didn't make it. She died, unfortunately. And I was 10 when that happened. My sister was probably about 6. So we've all sort of, obviously my parents have sort of been through a very similar thing, and all of this brings back memories for them, and it's not nice, and you can see that it's affecting them, and that really sucks, because, I always feel like my family, my parents, they're sort of my rock, like they're my go-to. They know better than I do about the world and how things work, and they're full of great knowledge. That sounds weird to say, but they are, and they know what they're talking about, and I know that they're right half the time. And it just sucks to see them in such a shitty position, you know what I mean, and in such a crappy situation where they feel so helpless, and also they feel like they're sort of, it's bringing up all these bad memories from before. And obviously I was like 10 or something around the time that happened, with my other sister being born prematurely, and she was more premature than this baby is. She was much more premature, but she didn't make it. And I do remember a lot of it, and it wasn't a good time. It was a horrible time and a horrible thing for anyone to go through. So I'm sorry to make this video so serious, and it has some serious topics and some crappy things in it, but that's just what's going on at the minute. So we lost this house. I've been struggling with my mental health, and then my sister's baby being born prematurely and not being well. That's still ongoing. My mental health will still be ongoing. It is getting better, but that's ongoing. And obviously we don't know what's happening with the baby necessarily. We just live day to day, getting the updates we can when we can get them from my sister. And we just have to hope and see how it goes. And obviously, compared to like what my sister's going through, my problems seem like nothing. The fact that I've lost a house, fuck losing a house, it doesn't matter in comparison to what she's going through. But obviously at the time that was really sucky for us, and we're going to keep looking for somewhere. We'll find somewhere eventually. It'll happen. It's just one of those things. But hopefully, I guess it's just like the baby is our main priority at the minute, I think, in the back of everybody's mind. And when we got the bad news yesterday, I did feel like crap, and I felt so shitty, because you can't do anything. There's nothing you can do. And the fact that my sister, my little sister, and I call her my little sister, but she is my little sister. She's my younger sister, but she's 21. She's a grown-up. She's an adult. But I still feel like I hate to see her going through something like this. So yeah, just please bear with me. I hope you can understand that the situations that I've been through or am going through are kind of sucky and really crappy, but you might see me moaning or bitching or having a rant on Twitter now and again, and I'm sorry if that's annoying for you, but sometimes it just helps to do that. And I've had a lot of support from people that follow the channel and follow me on Twitter, and they've been really great. You genuinely have been really great and super helpful to me. Even just asking like how I am or how I'm feeling. It's really nice, and I didn't expect it. I genuinely didn't. And you don't realise how much that really means. So I want to thank you guys that have been supportive and continue to be supportive through these crappy times. And don't worry, I'll be okay. We'll make it through. And that's pretty much it. I hope this update has sort of helped you understand more what's going on. And yeah, just be supportive. And I won't be going anywhere, but I just might need some time every now and again. But that's about it. Anyway, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.